Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, here we are. Are you making all the sales that you need to? Is your business generating sales every day? Have you become the person that all your ideal people say yes to naturally?
We're on.
Right.
Are we on?
I can't hear you. Okay, here we go. So apologize for any technical issues. These are growing pains here of us moving through the streaming world and leveraging all of our expertise, putting it out there to you, people who need it. So, Jim Padilla here with Gain the Edge for your weekly Edge Sales Power Play. And today, the topic is, as you can see here, why you need to establish leadership versus building rapport to close more sales. Now, of course, I'm already hearing it. I'm hearing it. I already know. I can name some of you by name. But you got to have rapport, Jim. You must have rapport in the sales conversation. Without rapport, you don't have a sale. I get it. I get it. Of course, the title is here. This is a hook, right? This is just a way to embrace the conversation. We're not saying rapport is not important. What we're saying is rapport isn't what you always think it is. Okay, another way to address this here as we are moving through sales conversations. We've built and run sales teams for hundreds of people. We've dealt with thousands of salespeople and companies, and there's a lot of things that just tend to be a natural thought process and natural barriers. Right. And we are here to blow up and remove any barriers to you generating revenue every day. And here's one of them. We all think that rapport is, hey, we got stuff in common. I like you, you like me. You play soccer, I play soccer. You have kids, I have kids. You breathe, I breathe, right? You drink water, I drink water. We have so much in rapport, right? Rapport is not all of those things. And this slide is out of order. But the deal is, have you ever been pulled over by a police officer for a speeding ticket, a fix-it ticket, or for those of us who've been in more nefarious situations? What's the default happening? Officer shows up. You're not trying to build niceties. Officer shows up. He's leader, your follower. She's leader, your follower. You're laying down the law, you're following it. Here we go, license and registration. Fill this out. Tell me what you were doing. What were you off to in such a hurry? Right? There is rapport established, as in somebody's the leader, somebody's the follower. Yeah. What about teachers? You ever you have been a teacher? You ever been a student? Right? Teacher says, "Hey, sit down, stop talking, do your homework, do your work on your assignment, get your project done." This isn't about friendship. This isn't about all the stuff we have in common. It's about leader follower. There's a rapport established. We are moving forward together in a connected relationship with clear understanding. Parents, right? What if you're a parent? You got parents and kids. When you ideally, when you say, "Hey, it's time to go to bed," it's time for the kids to go to bed. When we're moving outside and doing something, the family goes. When the kids are running in the street and you say no, they stop, or they should. Okay, rapport has been established. When you come to a restaurant, same thing. Waiter, server, food server, person's taking your order, person serving your food, person is delivering an experience. They ask, you respond. What would you like? You tell them what they like. You ask what are the choices. They tell you what the choices are. They ask you, you tell them what the desserts are. What's your choice of salad dressing and the soup of the day? You getting me? We're following here. There's rapport established. It has nothing to do with you being similarly aligned. It has nothing to do with connection and mutual affinity for each other. That is a definition of rapport, not the definition of rapport. And the all important salesperson, right? You go to the dealership, you don't just walk around and do whatever you want. If you want to buy a car, you have to follow some protocol. The salesperson is going to ask you to take it for a test drive. They're going to ask some questions of you. They're going to need to get your license. You're going to need to speak with a finance manager unless you're showing up with cash. There's a process and a protocol, and they need to lead you in that protocol. You don't get to just show up, decide if you like them or not, decide what's going on, and then decide how you're going to buy it. Although, again, there are exceptions to every rule, and they do apply. But this is what being a leader in rapport is about. Okay? Rapport is defined As a noun, a relationship, especially one of mutual trust or emotional affinity. Okay, mutual trust or emotional affinity. That means there's connection, there's an understanding, right? Relation, proportion, conformity, correspondence, and according, right? Moving accordingly. What they're saying here is you could be in accord. It means you can be of in a harmonious environment. Okay, but it doesn't mean you're buddies. And the way that I see is here, this is the most relevant explanation and definition, right? In accord, a harmony or sympathy, having a mutual, especially a private understanding. Mesmerism. Okay, mesmerism, I'll break down that definition for you another time. I was researching that actually. But at the end of the day, it's about leadership. Okay, and in that relation of a sympathy which permits influence or communication. Nowhere in there does it say, hey, we have all the same stuff in common. It says we have a mutual understanding. There is an understanding. And that is about leadership. Leadership is synonymous with sales. You often hear descriptions that sales is service, which it is. Selling is serving. But you know what it really is? It's leadership. Leadership is synonymous with selling. You are leading people to a place of making a great decision for their own best interest. That's what sales is. It is leadership. It is you showing up saying, I'm the expert of this. I know where you need to go. Let's narrow the focus so that you have choices to make, but we're going to help narrow the focus of the parameters and the circumstances in which these choices will be made, because I know the lay of the land. I know where you are. I know where you're going. I've been there and I've helped many others get there, and I know how to help you get there. Therefore, we got some things to figure out, and I'm going to set the terms of what that looks like for us working together to be able to solve this problem. Cool. Are we on the same page? Type in the chat which one of those definitions was something you had not thought of as rapport. I know for a fact that one of those you did not think about as rapport. Teacher, police, the food server. How are we doing this? Leadership. Okay. Again, this is rapport. It's just not the rapport in the way that you have typically thought of it. Okay. Type in that breakthrough. Let me know what you're thinking. All right. We'll keep this rolling. Is rapport necessary in sales? A rhetorical question. It doesn't require that you answer it. It just, of course, it is, right? We're all going to say absolutely. Again, this I told a minute ago that my slides were out of order. This was supposed to be before the slide with all the pictures. So we already know that. Okay. So what we're going to talk about here about the next 25 minutes is you being crystal clear why leadership is vital in making sales happen every day. Remember, you need to make sales happen every day. We are here to obliterate any barriers to you making sales every day and becoming the leader that people say yes to. Okay. Everything we do is in service to that. We're going to dial through this and again, next 20 minutes or so. And that's when we make some cases here and share why this is a vital outcome that you need to be diving into. Understanding leadership is what makes sales happen. Okay. Number one, leadership builds trust and credibility. Okay? It establishes you as the expert. Right? This reassures that the prospect, right, that the prospect and you are in good hands. Right, that they are good hands. They need to know that somebody's showing them the way. They feel good about that. Something that we hear all the time in sales. And I'm not here to make anything wrong. I'm just here to say there's better ways to do stuff. And there's ways that work more effectively. We often say, well, we have to ask them questions until they understand. They have to be the one to decide that this is the place to go. They're the ones that have to formulate the thought and come up with it in order to be able to be real so they buy into it. And the perspective on that is right. They do need to be the one. We don't want them forced into a decision. We need them led to a decision. Okay, there's a difference between sitting around and waiting for them to come up with the decision. I do want it to be their own idea. Data says it's more effective, it's more long-term, it's more sticky if they thought it was their idea to make this go. Okay, just like everything I'm talking about with you here, I'm not telling you, I'm trying to interest you into seeing things a different way so that you will buy it. I can tell you this is what we see, this is what the metrics say, and this is the way it is. And there is fact in that. That a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. If I beat it over your head, you might do something different, but you're not going to buy it and own it. Whereas if you come to this conclusion and this realization on your own, you're going to be able to say, yes, that makes sense because I got here to this decision and I made this decision. Okay. The difference is I'm here to lead you to what I know is and I'll come and I'm here to provide the context so that you can make a decision in this environment around that piece. When you're talking to people, you're the person who knows where they're going. You're the one that has the data. You're the one that has the history and the facts on your side. You know what's going on. So you want to shape the decision-making journey that they're on so that they can be in that right place to make the decision that, quite honestly, many times they're just not qualified to make. Most people are not qualified to make the decisions that you are here to help them make, because this is a decision they make once in a while, or this may be the first time. You help people make this decision every day. You've got context and credibility, right? So you want them to feel like they are in good hands so that they will likely trust the recommendations and insights that you bring to the table. Right? Amen. Are we feeling it? Type that in. I want to know where's the place that you need to drop more seeds of future pacing. Where do you need to show people a better leadership perspective of where it's going, instead of constantly allowing them, waiting for them to come up with what they're doing, why they're doing it, what should they be doing about it? Okay, you get to shape that opportunity. And you know what it does? It also shortens the conversations. You don't have to talk to people for 90 minutes to make a sale, because you can lead this to a intersection of pain and solution and decision making much more, with much more focused intentionality and more effectiveness. Cool. Are we on that same page and rolling? All right, let's keep this thing moving along. Okay, next reason why leadership is what is necessary to establish rapport. It controls the flow of the sale. You get to dictate the pace and the direction of the conversation. Okay, when you are the leader, that means you lead, they follow. You can be the leader while walking next to somebody, just like when people are dancing. When you're dancing, one person is the lead and follow. However, you are moving together symbiotically. So it's not like you're dragging her around the dance floor or vice versa. You are leading. And in this same conversation, you are setting the pace. Okay. Are you a turtle? Or are you a rabbit? You sitting around waiting stuff to go, or are you setting the pace? Are you moving because you know what needs to happen, but you provide the context for them to move at their pace, but in the right direction, so they're not wasting steps and wasting actions and activity. Okay, it allows you to uncover the prospect's needs, handle objections effectively, and guide them to a solution that aligns with their goals. Normally I don't read the bullet points, but I like the way I came up with these, so I want to make sure that they are said and that you can see them there. Right, but it can get awful convoluted if you're letting them go left, go right. Oh, you're getting warmer, you're getting cooler. Right? You ever play Marco Polo and it takes them 20 minutes to find you? And you're like, warmer, warmer, Marco Polo. You don't want that in the sales conversation. They're going to exhaust themselves just trying to make decisions and figure it out. You help them make the right decisions, taking the right steps, the right actions, in not just the sales conversation, but in the sales process in general. Okay. As an example for us, we want you having a sellable business. We work with people who have world-class businesses or those who desire to be, and move you to best in class, and then move you to a class of one, a decommoditized business and offers that can't stand alone and can't be compared to somebody else because they're not a commodity, and then getting you to a place of a sellable business so that you can sell it or run a profitable, pleasurable business because it has all the things necessary to deliver you the freedom that you got into business for. And so as a result, knowing that's where the destination is, everything we teach and share is about helping setting the stage for you making those decisions, understanding that in the sales process, you have to be the leader, which means you're the one who shows them where the future is, what changes need to be made, what frame of thought needs to be different. How can you plant seeds inside of them at the place where their current thoughts are already planted, so you can meet them where they are, shift and shape, shift and shape, easy for me to say, the thoughts and ideas so that you can get them thinking differently. You're setting a new narrative for them. That's part of controlling the flow of the sale. What are they doing pre-sale? What are they doing post-sale? What are they doing in the conversation, right? What are you doing listening to this conversation? I put a lot of thought into what you might be responding to, how you might be reacting as you're moving through these. And my goal is that I'm dropping one seed of clarity at each one of these points. So by the end of this, you're like, yes, I do see leadership is the way. It is a way I'm showing you is the best way, but I'm making a case for that. But at least should be moving you closer in that direction. Amen. All right, let's keep rolling. Next, when you're in leadership, it frames the solution better, because the leader is the one that sets the course. The leader is the one that everybody sees from wherever they are, that says, okay, that's the direction. That's where we're going. This is what we're doing. We're not sure how we're going to do it, but we know we're going that direction. That's what you're moving people to. Want you to see that you being the leader is part of you positioning yourself and having the credibility and the kind of positioning and authority that allows you to design your world in such a way that sales happen. That is a constant thread. You will probably hear me say that on every training we ever do. This is about you either choosing to become a world-class salesperson or structuring your world in such a way that sales happen. And I prefer the latter. It is so much easier and more effective, and it's more enjoyable way to run the business. So when you're doing that, you are showing people and they're going, yes, I will follow you because you are making sense to me, right? Or they disappear and run for the exit, but you're not having to convince people and be sales rock star. Okay, you shape the narrative, showing how your products and services are the best fit for their problem, but not until you've shown them clearly that that's the direction, that's the destination, and that their problem not being solved will hinder them from ever reaching that destination. Cool. What is the thing that you need to share more of? Type it in the chat, whether you're on YouTube watching here, in Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. I want to share, drop in the chat. What is the thing that you need to start sharing more of? What's one thing you need to share differently so that you're casting a shadow? You are showing them what is to come. This is you being a leader and helping them buy into a thought, shifting and shaping the narrative of the journey that they're on and the way they think about it. Okay, I'd love to hear what that is for you. Anything you type in the chat, we will come back and get it. We will answer every one of your questions. And if you want to see a further training, something that deeper explaining something, then the questions that you ask will also lead to more of our Edge Power Play trainings. These all come from the things that we're doing with our company, with our clients, or the people that we serve. If there's questions that come in, if there's enough of them that come in, then we know this is something that everybody needs, and we'll do another training on it because we got plenty of content, tools, strategies, and resources for you. Okay. Next, being in leadership reduces hesitation and indecision. It reduces hesitation and indecision. What happens is when you show up with a lack of certainty, with a lack of clarity, people wonder subconsciously, they're not going to go, well, gee, you're not speaking with enough authority for me to buy into what you're saying. That's not what they're saying. But their subconscious is. Their subconscious is going, I'm not sure if this person actually knows what they're doing. They're not really certain or clear. They're kind of yammering and stumbling a bit. They're afraid to own their expertise. There's something missing here that I don't know that I can trust myself to move forward. So I'm a little bit hesitant and I don't know what to do about it. But then it shows up in the form of, type it in the chat. What do you think it comes up in the form of? I can't afford it. I need to think about it. I got to talk to somebody. That's what happens. Okay. So you, by showing up as a leader, impart more certainty, more clarity in people. It removes it it has this immediate power and strength of being able to reduce and eliminate and break through hesitation and indecision because people are attracted to certainty. David Starr Jordan, again, one of my favorite all-time quotes, the world stands aside and lets pass any man who clearly knows where he is going, he or she, of course. Okay. What are you doing to instill certainty? What's one statement, one thing, and I got news for you, more often than not, it's not about the thing you're saying, it's about who you're being when you're delivering the message. So how are you showing up in a way that says, I know this, I am immovable on this, and I know there may be another way to do it, but I know damn well this way works. This is a difference maker. And if you aren't getting the results that you need, I promise you, this will help you make it happen. Okay. So you navigate them and you obliterate and disintegrate the doubts and fears and hesitations that keep them paused and holding up. All right. How are we feeling here? Good. Okay, we got a couple more. I'm going to wrap this thing up here. When you're in leadership, when you use leadership to establish rapport, it differentiates you from the competitors. Because you're showing up clearly positioned. You have a level of confidence and certainty and quality, just like this conversation. How many people say, get into rapport, connect? Yeah. And I'm saying it's not about rapport. It's about how you get into rapport. It's about the leadership you set the stage. I set the case, made the case. Leadership is rapport. We've already seen the definition of it, and we've seen examples that you all understand and agree with and have lived in your life. Now it's understanding That's one of the differentiators. We know that's what it takes to be a leader. That's what it takes to create a movement. That's what it takes to create a marketplace. That's what it takes to create a community of people who will follow you where you're going, so that you build your buyer pool of people who are in your world and consistently looking for more cues and clues that says, I'm here because I believe in what he's saying. I want to follow her. I know what she's doing, and I just need to see more evidence. Let me keep following. And you keep moving, and you keep pulling them along with you. Okay? And it starts differentiating you because of how you're showing up in the world, because you're not busy pushing products and offers and opportunities. They haven't shown a direct need and a readiness to do something about the problem that they solve, right? Because you are moving, you are differentiating yourself. Okay, everybody else is pushing a square. We're pushing a boulder. We're pushing that ball uphill. You are doing something that allows you to move differently, show up differently, serve powerfully, and be clear that you stand for something specifically. Right. We made, I used to have a podcast called Sales Unscripted. Currently it's Sales Team Ready. It has taken on some iterations. It started out as Sales Unscripted. And it was because we weren't teaching scripts. We still don't. We teach scripts because it's a mechanism. We certainly help people evaluate their scripts and put their talk tracks in place. But here's my thing. Scripts do not change the game for you in selling. There is no script that can tell you what to do or who to be. It can tell you what to say. It can ensure you don't forget to say certain things, but it's never going to allow you to be yourself. And you, yourself, your greatest, highest version of yourself, is the most enrolling thing you will ever do or be. So you have to do everything you can to strip away all of the other stuff and stop trying to do what everybody else is doing. Stop trying to follow their words and their things, and you start showing up as the greatest possible version of yourself. That is the ultimate differentiator, and that stands you apart, because you step into that confidence place, and guess what you're doing when you do so? You are leading, because you're giving them something to follow. All right. By taking charge, you demonstrate a proactive approach, elevating your status in their eyes. And they want that. They need that. Right. Next, leadership promotes efficient decision making. It's very clear. When you lead, you are able to direct the prospect through a clear decision-making framework. We talked last week about designing go find the recording from the last Edge Sales Power Play on strengthening the sales cycle versus shortening it, because the process in doing so is you articulating and navigating the decision-making process for your opportunity, for your people in your world. You know how to best shape that so they're making the right decisions about the right things at the right time. Okay, this blindfold, this reminded me of Cindy and I were at a marriage retreat last fall, and they played this blindfold game with each couple, and it was outside up in Tahoe, and we had to maneuver around the property of this resort, and it was pretty interesting because we were going up hills, downstairs, through rocks and dirt, and we had to guide our spouse. And at portions of it, we had to guide them with words only. At other times, we had to do them without words, just with touch. Then at times we had touch them, and other times not touch them. And just, it was very interesting what leadership styles were showing up. And you want to think about that. What are the things you can say, do, be? What clues can you drop? What resources can you share that will help people start moving in that direction? Speaking of resources, we have a couple, but I have one for you here, and it's our Gain the Edge sales call audit, our Edge sales call audit checklist. We audit calls at scale, and we've gotten so good at them with our framework for auditing calls that we can diagnose your entire sales process based on what's happening in the sales conversation. And we have trained trained AI on our framework so it can do the call audits at scale. So you can literally get as many done as you want to, hundreds or thousands a month for your team or for you, whether it's one or 1,000, either way, it's going to benefit. And the more, if we're doing all of your calls, you can see trends, themes in real time as what's going on. So you can start helping to make a better decision, start having a better leadership focused conversation to move people towards making that great decision. And we do that as a paid service, but what we do have is an Edge call audit checklist that is a framework. If you want that, just type in the chat checklist, and we will get that to you. It is our framework. It was literally, it is you doing it, not the AI. But I promise you, you check this out, you download this, and you walk through this process and review one of your sales calls, you will immediately, even if you are not any good at this, you will get 10% improvement right away. And I dare say it'll double your sales rate in a week, as long as you have sales calls lined up, because you'll implement these. You'll have ready to implement actions to improve your sales conversations right away. And then if you bold enough to give us access to your sales calls through our A process and what we do, we will change the game for your entire sales process. We will make sure with that you are literally setting up your company to make sales every day and to ensure that you become the person that people say yes to. Cool. So let's make sure we keep moving through. We're almost done here. Okay. Next thing that leadership in the sales process does is it establishes long-term relationships. Here's why. As the leader, you are not just talking about what's happening right now. You know where they're at, you know where they've been, and you know where they're going, and all of the pitfalls that are likely to occur along the way. And it's interesting. I got this slide here because when we were hanging out with our grandsons last weekend, and they were playing Mario Brothers game. First of all, I was stunned that Mario Brothers is still relevant when it was relevant 50 years ago when I was playing it. And it's still the same exact game, but is still relevant in today's marketplace. Fantastic job of marketing. But that aside, they were watching. I walked up, I sat down with them on the couch, and I said, "Oh, are we playing Mario Brothers?" And they said, "No, we're watching it." They were watching a cartoon of Mario Brothers game being played. And excuse me, the people playing the game were they were experts, I'm assuming from the company, but they were able to they were describing what they were doing, and they were narrating the fact that they were finding all of the hidden pellets, all of the hidden points, all the places where you can get points, stay out of trouble, save lives, and do the things that will add to the game quality that you're playing. And these kids are watching it. Our grandsons are 5 and 3. They're watching this, and then they go play the game. But you know what? Now they play it, and they play it longer, and they play it more effectively. I'm not totally thrilled about that, by the way. I'm not sure how I don't like that perspective. However, that is brilliant leadership in sales. They were selling right there. They're showing you in the cartoon how to win at this game and how to keep moving through levels and progressing. And so our grandkids, these children were watching this, and they are already committed to what they're doing because they already know what they're trying to accomplish. They know what's coming, and they haven't even jumped on it yet. Right now, when they go play the game, they're looking for certain things because they were shown the way. And I thought that's exactly what we do in the sales conversation. That's what we do in the sales process. Your job is not just to break through each layer as it's coming. Your job is to show them what more is to come. What's to come if they solve it? What's to come if they don't? What's to come if they do it well, if they do it poorly, if they do it first, or if they do it last, right? Your job is to narrate all that discussion. So we want you showing up as a leader, because the more you do, the faster you do, and the better you do, the more opportunities that show up, the more revenue you'll make, because you'll be solving bigger problems, because you will be seen as an authority. You will show up as that expert, and it'll be clear you're not solving little baby problems. You have that gets solved just by a byproduct along the way. You're solving big problems because you can show the way, and the more you can clearly demonstrate the future and what is to come for them, you now have more credibility, more authority, more leadership, and they will follow. Right? And they will stick around longer because they're waiting for that to occur. While everybody else is busy selling products, you're selling future. You're selling the intangible. You're selling the invisible, but you're making it real because you're helping them understand that when this is solved, life is going to change for them. Right? Make sense? What's the one thing? Type in the chat. What's the one thing that you need to be dialing in to make sure that you can show them a future that doesn't happen today and can't happen unless they solve these problems while they're moving in that direction? Okay? Requires a little bit more nuanced thought, but you've got that inside you, and we're here to help you with it. If you need help, let us know. We're happy to jump on a call with you and break this down for you further, customize it for you. All right, there's our Edge Sales Call Audit. We'll drop that link in the chat again, should you ask for it and want it. The other thing here, this is where we're wrapping. Okay, at the end of the day, leadership is about providing value, providing direction, and sharing confidence to the prospect. Okay. Assuming this role, you are helping them achieve clarity. You are helping them move toward a successful outcome more efficiently. That's just good words. It's good wisdom. Where does this apply? Where are you missing this in your process? And please don't think about this as limited to the sales conversation, because that's not what we're talking about. It certainly all applies in the sales conversation. But think about the entire sales process, your entire customer journey. From the moment they enter your world, the sales conversation begins at hello. And that hello for some of you is today. Today might be the first time you've ever seen us, been introduced to us. And if so, welcome to our world, because we're about to change your mind on what sales can be like. And we're going to break your brain on the things that we think, because we don't think what traditional salespeople think, but we're not crazy out on the edge. We just know the truth of what works. When you generate $500 million worth of sales and you run hundreds of thousands of sales conversations and grow sales teams and see what's up, there's no longer guessing. We know what works and we know what doesn't. And we know what we see people do over and over and over again that are in the way of you making sales every day or becoming the person that people will say yes to naturally. And we are here to shred that completely, right? We want you to become the person as a leader that gives advice, that advises, you provide tips, strategy, support, help, assistance, guidance. You become the go-to, and you become the person that they consistently look to for those prompts, for those steps, for the next thing to do. They want to see that they've got your blessing, your wisdom, your guidance on what to make sure what happens, because you keep showing that what you talk about makes sense and what you're outlining works. Okay. Next thing I want to put in front of you is an opportunity for you to dive in with us. If you are watching this recording and it's at the end of October 2024, then you just have to get on the waiting list, because we'll be doing it again in the future. But we do have an opportunity coming up now for those of you watching live or in the moment before October 17th. And we have our client first collaboration live experience. We here in our home in Sacramento. If you can make it here by hook or by crook, if you have something else you can cancel, I highly recommend you do, because we're going to show you how the sales conversation beginning at hello is powerful when you are focused on solving your partner's clients' problems, collaborating for the benefit of your common clients and customers, and how it changes the game and puts you immediately into leadership role, and you start guiding people towards solution right away. Tag us, reach out, ping us right away. We will get you the information. We only have a few seats left. We're capping this thing at 20, is in person in our home, where we will open that up to you and host you and shift the way you think. And again, break your brain, showing you a different way to generate business, accelerate the sales cycle, show up powerfully as the leader, as the person in the know who can solve their problems, because you've been designed to do it. Okay. This is about you delivering certainty, which is what equals trust. Okay. Trust is certainty over time, consistency over time. And when you do that, that's the life you live, and that's the life that you allow your clients to live. Is there, you are just on a different journey altogether than the other people around you. And they're here, they're going to watch, they're going to participate, and they're going to see what's going on. But at the end of the day, the world stands aside and lets pass any person who clearly knows where they're going, because you have it figured out and you are moving at speed. And the faster you move and implement, the more things you get to apply from all the mistakes that are made and the feedback that you gain. And you start seeing the world in a way that other people just can't, because they don't have what you have. And you need to stand up for that and make that difference. And that's what we're here to help you do. So I greatly appreciate the opportunity to serve you. And if you have anything that you need to be able to bounce your ideas off of, we're here to support and to help you, and let our 9-figure sales brains put on your business and change the way that you sell, so we can obliterate anything that's in the way of you earning sales every day and becoming the leader that people say yes to. Thanks for your trust and your time. Remember that what you do matters, and you deserve to be paid well for.